two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Since you've been gone, Guardians Volume. Oh shit!
Brandon, what are you doing?
I'm trying to do the song from the movie and the trailer, but all right. So hey, everybody, it's Eddie Collins.
Guys, it's Justin Brown.
I love these soundtracks.
Brandon's the worst.
It's hard to do this when we're not in person, man. We can't feel the vibe. You know, folks, you don't know this, but when Justin and I recorded in person, telepathically, telepathically, we sometimes can, figure out what songs we're about to sing and stuff,
That is a falsitude, everybody.
So if I start singing Michael McDonald right now, you're not going to join in with me and know exactly what I'm going to do?
Well, because I know about Michael McDonald songs. It's like it's not a thing where we both start singing the song at the same exact time. That's not how it works, Brandon.
In my
phonetically.
In my mind, that's how it goes. I always feel like we're meant to be like that. But folks, we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the supposed final chapter, at least in the James Gunn iteration of these characters, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. Because, to use a phrase that Justin's made very popular on this podcast, I like this movie. I like it a lot. But I do feel like we were honey-dicked.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the honey-dicking is real.
I think, and kudos to the marketing, because it definitely got my ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to see this movie anyway, because it felt like it was going to be separate enough from whatever they're building with the King thing, where it could just be a fun wrap up for these characters. Because Batista's been very vocal about I'm out of here, and that's it maybe is correlated when James Gunn first got fired, but no matter what, it just seems like he's like, I'm kind of over this, I'm good. Chris Pratt had said something similar, so I'm thinking for the marketing, okay, so some people are going to die, and they're probably just going to be like, you know what, let's just go all do our own thing because the band's broken up.
Yeah.
And spoiler, everybody, no one dies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rocket comes close to. I mean, it was kind of weird that Rocket was knocked out the whole fucking movie until the third act, but we did get Baby Rocket, which was worth the price of admission by itself. Baby Rocket was so adorable.
It was everything that a lover of raccoons wanted to see.
I just walked myself into this. Oh, no.
It was my best friend called Cooney the Super Coon right on the big screen. And I remember after I saw this movie and I texted you guys and I said to Yuvia, I'm just like, you get it now, don't you? And everybody's just like, yeah, I want a raccoon too. So y'all have been fighting me on this for years now, but now you understand why raccoons are the cutest thing that ever happened to mankind. You're welcome.
Okay. But
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Credit. I mean, Baby Raccoon, when you get the backstory, is Baby Rocket is incredibly adorable. But he's also shown to be a raccoon when he rips the High Evolutionary's face off.
Yeah.
Because once you saw him, the young High Evolutionary, and shout out to that brother, because he killed it on Peacemaker, and I guess that blew James Gunn's mind. He's like, you need to be the villain in my movie. Yeah. And we'll talk about the trivia, but I guess Warner Brothers allowed them to film his tape for Marvel on their studio. So then in return for Guardians, they allowed him to film the Justice League tag at the end of Peacemaker or something like that. It's like a tip for tat that you found in the trivia. But dude, he was awesome as the High Evolutionary. I've seen some folks that even petition to be make High Evolutionary a King variant, and then that dude can take over for Jonathan Majors. Because he killed it. I thought he was great. Yeah. But when you saw him in the early flashbacks with that fade, and then you saw him later on with the Botox stretch, I was like, oh, Rocket jacked him up.
Oh yeah, he jacked him up good. Mm-hmm. He jacked him up good. But then again, that dude, his do ain't it. His normal everyday do ain't it. But
Oh, you talking
I'm
about the
glad.
original haircut when he looked like Prince?
Well, no, I'm just talking about that actor. That his cuts not yeah, it's a little wild. It's a little wild, but at the same time, he did a great job. He's a great actor.
It
But
was great.
if I'm a show, so
Yeah.
what's that?
Justin, is your iPad plugged in still?
No.
Because your signal is lagging again. Like I messaged you earlier. Like I'll just edit this out. But
Okay, fair enough. Is it better?
It's better now. Let's just keep going, and then
Okay,
me or Uvia will like message you if it's
cool.
stuff. But yeah, like the performances in this were actually really great. I mean, Bradley Cooper, fucking great voice acting. I mean, the stuff they gave Rocket was my favorite. Like Rocket's my favorite Guardian character. So the fact that it was kind of revolving around him. I mean, even just like I don't understand the inconsistency with these Marvel movies now with the graphics, right? Because we open with Rocket walking through nowhere, listening to Creep, and it's like one of the like most poetic, like it's such a beautiful like one shot. Like I was like, what's going on? Why does James Gunn get a different budget seemingly than freaking Doctor Strange 2, Sam Raimi, than what was the most recent Marvel movie we just saw? That we were Ant-Man 3. Thank you.
Yeah, Ant-Man 3. Yeah.
Like it just doesn't make any sense to me, like the inconsistency and like how smooth the graphics are.
Well, I think part of it is just the fact is who's the director, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're gonna throw money at anybody and give them what they want, it's gonna be a James Gunn. Everybody else has to prove themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, I guess for Doctor Strange 2, like that's Sam Raimi. He's like movie royalty. And then Ant-Man 3, by the time I get to Ant-Man 3, you would think like, hey, I've done 2 of these. Like, give me the good graphic designers. You know what I mean? Because Guardians, they got the eight. Like, I mean, the costumes alone were fucking amazing. I was fully immersed in this world. Unlike Ant-Man, where we're like, this feels like a Star Wars ripoff.
Yeah.
The Guardians, everything of the Guardians thing, I'm like, this fits the aesthetic they've been building since the first Guardians.
Yeah.
Like it all fit. Like the music fit, the characterizations fit, like everything, which is so like, but I guess that goes to the creativity of James Gunn, like you said, Justin.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I guess, and I like to Yuvia's point in the chat, like, Gunn had some people backing him up, especially when he was fired for a minute. Like when he was fired, like the entire cast wrote a letter, essentially said, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Which is why we got this movie. And this is the longest, I guess, period between a Marvel movie and its sequel, 6 years between Guardians 2 and Guardians 3, because for me, that is the reason probably why one of the storylines just didn't hit for me. And that was the whole Adam Warlock thing. Like, I think that actor, like, based on what I know about that character, I think he did a decent job and made him kind of like this aloof, like, creation or whatever. But that shit should have happened, like, at the beginning of the Thor movie, like Thor Love and Thunder, because, like, you know what I mean? Because unless Adam Warlock was blipped as well with everybody else, he should have been looking for this crew, like, since, like, Infinity War. Right, because it's Guardians 2, Infinity War comes after that, then Endgame, and then you have the tag with the Guardians at the beginning with Thor, Love and Thunder.
Well, I mean, at the same time, all the Guardians, with the exclusion of Rocket and Nebula, were all blipped.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a 5-year.
But they were looking for Rocket.
What's that?
But specifically the High Evolutionary, we find out he created the Gold People for the second movie, who are then looking for the Guardians to get revenge for the second movie. But particularly they're going after Rocket, because Rocket's the one not only who stole their shit, their orb or whatever, but also the High Evolutionary has been apparently looking for this dude for God knows how long. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
but at the same time, it is like with the blip happening, we don't know if the High Evolutionary also got blipped away. We don't know, like, there's so many things that happen, so like that can throw turmoil into everything. So we don't even know how many of the the weird gold people got blipped away. So it's like there's so much that has to be that can be explained by the blip.
That's
and also because Adam Warlock is an unfinished product, because he came out of that incubation early. his character is still growing. So like
Yeah.
as the movies go on, he's still going to grow. He's gonna attain more of his powers, and he's going to get stronger.
So he's like a human Groot, essentially. Like where
Pretty much.
he has to grow like into his full ability. Because Groot by the end of this is like a fucking like one of those things, Kajus, the things from Pacific Rim. Like he's looking like a wood version of that thing.
So I was listening to another podcast, and I can't remember the name of it right now because I listened to a bunch of things. But they
the voices in your head.
Shut up. So basically, Groot's so baby Groot is actually Groot's son.
Yes. This isn't the same Groot that we knew from the beginning. The first
so baby Groot is Groot's son. And Groot's because Groot was born on his home planet, his size is then and he matured on his home planet. His size is actually indicative of of someone in the home planet. But because baby Groot grew up on a ship, and out in space and things like that, he's not subjected to the atmosphere and the gravity and things like that of his home planet. So he can grow much larger.
Okay.
And so this is actually paying homage to, oh my God, it's basically an evil Groot, which is like King Groot or something like that, who has like horns and things like that, who's super powerful. So like it's kind of paying a homage to that group.
Nice. Okay.
At the end.
Yeah, with the tag at the end when they play the "Come and Get Your Love," which just brought a big smile on my face when they did that. Brought it full circle. I was like, I like what you did there, James Gunn. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I did love James Gunn, and this is like the one danger I think of him doing all the stuff he's doing and tweeting and responding to everything. I think he said he's going to stop though, but he did say when Vin Diesel finally gets to say something besides "I am Groot" at the end, when he says "I love you guys," that's supposed to symbolize that we spent so much time with Groot that we now understand Groot.
Yes,
the same way that like later in the movie, like Gamora. Gamora.
Gamora.
She's like,
right.
I don't understand what this dude's saying at the beginning when they first meet because this is a new Gamora. By the end, she knows what he's saying, and I thought that was really sweet to be like, now you've been with this character long enough where you can actually we'll probably give him more words to say because you're supposed to understand Groot language now.
Yeah,
which is dope. I think that's like a really cool thing they did. But nonetheless, Marvel, you still honey did me. I thought some niggas were gonna die. No one died except, Rocket's friends. That was incredibly sad. But at the same time, we don't know those niggas. We just met them 30 minutes ago. We've known these people for hours. Kill somebody.
For years, man. For years.
I thought for sure Drax was going to die. When he got that laser to the chest.
Yeah, he got in the chest and then in the back.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he goes downstairs.
He went down like Ricky from Boys in the Hood. Ricky.
Jesus Christ. They got fucked up in this movie though. From the beginning, when Adam Warlock came and crashed through nowhere, he was fucking up. He's the reason why Rocket's knocked the fuck out the whole movie.
Yeah. Well, Rocket's on the fucking edge of glory, if you know what I mean.
Jesus Christ. Just most of Rocket's story is a flashback because he's knocked out. He's on the verge of dying. It was fucked up though. Like the fact that it showed how smart Rocket is, and that he got abused for being smart, which is so fucked up. And then he had that whole the reason why he's always stealing shit is because they're parts of the people that he the animals and creatures that he was with in the prison, which is so fucking tragic and sad, man. So
a part of me feels like Rocket's story is kind of even on a take of maybe childhood geniuses, stars and things like that, because they're treated the same exact way. So it's they show their how exceptional they are, and then we spend the rest of our time picking them apart and poking and prodding at them, to basically say that they don't know anything, or to just see what we can get out of them. Watching Rocket, I was just he's not childhood, sorry, as these gifted children.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It brought layers to that character. And like I said, like he's my favorite Guardians. He's like definitely my top 5 of the MCU characters. Because I think just the animation compared with Bradley Cooper's wild ass New York accent, whatever the fuck he does.
Yeah.
Like I just think it's a great character. Like I think about Endgame when Paul Rudd, like they're all going through like the time travel plan. And then he's like, all right, so then me and Thor are gonna go into space. And then Paul Rudd's like, space? And he's like, oh, look, it's so cute when it thinks. I was like, yo, like this raccoon just fucking roasts everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And it works. I don't know how it works. I don't know why it works, but I was happy to see Rocket lived. I was surprised that he was made the new leader when Star-Lord's essentially retiring. He's like,
well,
yeah,
technically,
I'm done,
Brandon, he has been the new leader of the Guardians. Because he has the most
skill set. Like he's able to.
No. He has the most time as the leader of the Guardians. I guess his time as a captain of that ship is stretches.
Because of the blip.
Exactly.
Got it.
So he became a captain at that point. So technically, he's been the leader for a minute. Once the snap happened, everybody the reverse happened. Like they came back 5 years later. It's like he has to fill everybody else into what the hell was going on.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, he was part of the Avengers, which is wild for that blip time and stuff. I mean, it is cool because that means that they can keep Rocket around for those stories. Yeah. Drax and Nebula, I think their story, their ending was kind of complete when like they got all the kids from the High Evolutionaries place and they're going to rebuild nowhere, and it seemed like that's a good place for those two characters to kind of like stay. And if like they wanted to, at least for like Nebula, you could check in at nowhere and she'll pop up or something like that and be, oh, Drax is with the kids, or like they have an out
father again.
Exactly, they have an out where it doesn't really add too much to the story going forward. And then I was kind of let down by Mantis's story. She just went away with these squid monsters. She's like, I'm going to explore the universe. And I'm like, we just had the holiday special where you and Star-Lord found out realized you were siblings. Like, okay, I guess, yeah, just go off into the galaxy by yourself.
Well, I think, it's just the fact is like she wants to find herself, because if she just found out that she's Star-Lord's sister, it's just like there's so much to her story that she doesn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, but Ali in the chat said they will be good for the multiverse. And remember, folks, if you sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/mediumpopcorn, you can join us live when we record these episodes. I was thinking of that too. I was like, these monsters are going to be for something like, King Dynasty or something.
Yeah.
Or Secret Wars. Like all these things are going to come into play with like these monsters, and whatever's sticking around, that's obviously going to come to play with like the big bad of the saga, which we have so many powerful beings. Like you said, Justin, with the Ant-Man review, they fucked up that Kang characterization, because I was thinking about like between you got Shuri, the fucking you got Thor's daughter now, like the Gore God daughter, right? Who has her own powers. You got freaking
the Marvels, and
it's like King hasn't proven to be that powerful.
Well, like that's the thing, Brandon.
I think they blew their wad a little bit too early on that.
No. But that's the thing. That's the catcher. You now have all of these very powerful people, right? That all popped up. Now, when Kang starts taking them out easily, that's going to give Kang the rub.
Okay, so he has to start taking. So we do have to start seeing some depth soon, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
In order for that to work, it can't be these
we have to start seeing some depths, or Kang has to be. It has to obliterate people, and like really, like it was like we Thanos got the rub when he beat the shit out of the Hulk.
Yeah. Infinity War, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, when he beat up the Hulk like that, you were just like, oh shit, this guy's serious. And it's like, oh yeah, and Hulk was giving it to him. He's just like, yeah, okay, let's stop playing, and then just easily manhandled him. That's what Kang's gonna do. And now you have all of these secondary characters who you're like, oh, this guy's really powerful and such. And then all of a sudden he's gonna come in and he's just gonna make easy work of people. And you're like, holy shit, this guy's something different. Well, okay. I mean, at least that was the whole idea before, Mr. Majors decided to be a major piece of shit.
that's that's very true. I mean, I didn't know that the High Evolutionary is still alive. So there is a possibility for you to kind of do some wiggle room, to have some wiggle room with that. And like possibly, I think that's the only thing is the Ant-Man post-credit. I'm sure Marvel right now is kicking themselves right now for the post-credit scenes they had in Ant-Man 3. Because I think if you hadn't had that, if you hadn't had those two post-credit scenes, there's a way where you could still do Jonathan Majors is like one take of this character, but then we can do a whole other visualization of who King is. Because I think they're kind of doing that with the Peter Parker and soon to be like the guys from who's the dude from Fantastic Four? The stretchy dude that John Krasinski played.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic.
They're gonna do that. So like I think they could have set it up, but because you had that fucking Council of Kings all played by Jonathan Majors, we literally saw hundreds of versions of him. So now it's like, well,
I mean, but at the same time, they can. Disney actually took him off of like a major billing of.
Oh, they took him up all the promo.
Yeah, of Ant-Man 3 and things like that.
I don't think he's on the DVD cover at this point. Yeah.
So they can literally just superimpose somebody's face on his and things like that. Like they can, and because that was a post-credit scene, that's something easier for them to kind of do away with. But like also that could be a Council of Kangs from a certain area. There could be more.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a way to do like a post-credit scene of the new season of Loki where it's like a new king. And he's like, oh, that's just those are the kings from this one universe, and I destroyed them. I'm the new king. You could do some shit. Just as long as you don't have the dude saying it like that, like in a weird British accent, that wouldn't be threatening at all.
Okay.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Drax stuff in this one.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed I enjoyed all the comedy and then like the heart, like because Star-Lord is fucked up. He's fucked up for a bunch of reasons. And I think Chris Pratt played it a little darker than I was expecting because it's kind of like you're dealing with a dude that's reckoning not just with the fact that he lost the love of his life, but also that he kind of destroyed the universe.
Yeah. And then she's back, but she's not the woman, but she's not the woman that he loved. So he has to look at her and be reminded of the fact that that's not her.
Yeah. Mind you, before all that happened, his dad tried to kill him. So he's a little jacked up.
And then on top of that, he's just, he really has, no family. He's been running around the universe. So like nothing really matters to him. He went to Earth for Infinity. Endgame.
Yeah.
He went to Earth for Endgame, and then he immediately had to get out of there because I imagine like that was probably tough. Him just being there for Endgame is like, oh, I haven't been back to Earth in 30 some odd years or 20, whatever. And then now it's like, here I am back in space. It's like, what's my purpose?
Yeah, man. I mean, I got why he was like, I'm going back home. I'm going to meet my grandfather who I ran out of the hospital room. Because his impression was that the grandfather pushed him out. But I thought he ran out as a kid.
Yeah, I think he ran out.
Like his mom gave him the tape player and stuff, and then like the machine started going off, I think, and then the kid runs out, and that's when he gets abducted. It's not like the grandfather's like, get the hell out of here or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I never got that. Because I always thought that was what was so tragic about it. It wasn't like where he like wanted to get out of that situation. He just like was a kid dealing with grief and happened to get abducted, which I thought was always crazy.
Yeah.
But then when he goes back home, you got the post credit scene with just him and his granddad just eating cereal and having a boring ass day. I'm like, that's gotta be weird because like we just said, all the shit he's been through, and then you kind of help to save the world.
And now you're just like a grandson again.
You're just a grandson. It's gonna be told to
just a dude.
Clean the lawn and shit. What kind of job is Star-Lord gonna get in the real world? What could he do that's like valuable to Earth? You'll be around the chat thief. Go right to crime, and he gonna find out that Earth jail is a lot different than space jail. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
And he steal from the wrong person, then Hawkeye is coming after him, and that's not going to go that well.
Yep. Because you meet brothers like the dude in the video I sent you last night, Justin, called, I think that guy's name is DeMarcus Lamont or some shit.
Jesus Christ.
He said he's a Dom top.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You don't want to find those in prison.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a disturbing video.
Yeah, thank you for sending that to me.
Oh, of course. You know.
Well, of course, Justin.
But yeah, seriously, what would Star-Lord do? Maybe he could work at Trader Joe's. I could see him working there.
And bagging up them good groceries.
Mm-hmm. And then someone's like, takes a picture of him like, well, didn't you used to be a Star-Lord?
Oh, wait, weren't you an Avenger? Well, I was never an Avenger.
Weren't you also on the Cosby Show? But yeah, that'd be like, I could see that happening. That actually be a really funny way, because he's gonna get bored. Because at the end it says,
he's gonna return.
The famous Star-Lord will return, which we were all like, oh shit, because I thought Chris Pratt was done.
Actually, to tell you the truth, the best team up for him would be Ant-Man.
Oh, really?
Because they're both thieves.
And
they both are like normal guys who like really just, and they're going back to like try to be normal people after everything happened. So like I think that their stories are like the closest to each other.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh, that's a good observation. Okay, we're getting something.
So Star-Lord hanging outside of the Chinese theater getting money for Ussies or Lucy's. I don't know what Ussie is.
Ussies? UV is saying in the chat. Oh, wait, no, that's Lisa. Lisa in the chat saying,
"Oh, selfies."
Oh, okay. That's why you will have to join us live, everybody, at patreon.com/mediapocalypse. So you get to join us in the chat.
You could tell us why we're so stupid.
Oh yeah, I love hearing it.
I've never heard Ussies.
I've never heard of it either. I thought she was trying to say something that was with a P.
Yeah, I
thought it was a typo.
Star Wars buying pussy. He's getting that man pussy out there.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I mean, Star-Lord's gonna have a rough time because in theory, if based on the fucking Hawkeye show and stuff, people know about like what the Avengers do.
Mm-hmm.
And so wouldn't people know that Star-Lord kind of is the reason why the snap happened? Yes, it all worked out.
Yeah, but at the same time, Star-Lord is more of like the space team. So he's not as well known as everybody on the Earth squad.
I don't know, man. I feel like I would have a mark on that motherfucker. I'd be like, you're the reason why I lost 5 years with Lacey. You know what I mean?
My wife remarried a NFL superstar.
I mean, that is true. People were coming back. Apartments were fucking gone. Houses were gone and shit. What do you do with that?
You turn into Uncle Ruckus. That's why niggas and bitches ain't shit. You leave for 5 years and they just jump on somebody else. Them jungle bunnies don't deserve nothing. Fucking swamp ninjas just swimming on through different kinds of men's.
All right. Oh, so stupid.
I don't know where that came from. So one eye's bigger than the other.
So I don't think the story changed too much from when James Gunn came back, got fired, to when he finally came back. I think there was originally talk of Taika Waititi taking over director duties, but I guess they denied that. According to UVA's research, Taika made it clear that the option was never on the table for him, claiming that those are James's films. That would be like going into someone's houses and saying, "Hey, I'm your new dad, and this is how we make peanut butter sandwiches now." It'd feel kind of awkward. I mean, that would be weird, because even though they have the handoffs and stuff, that would be weird to take over someone's like franchise they started. That's what I'm sure. Like, someone's gonna hesitate for a long time if Ryan Coogler says, "I don't want to come back for Black Panther 3."
Yeah,
people are gonna be like, I don't know if I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would have to be one of the actors. It would have to be like Lupita saying, "I want to direct," like because apparently there's. I imagine there's certain movies where it's like a family. When like actors stay bullshit all the time, be like, "We were like a family on set and what have you," or like you be saying in the chat, Michael B. Jordan, because it has to be people that you immediately trust, and in something like that that's so important to the community.
That's so important
for the culture. Like you gotta, that would be tough.
I think that that'd be a hard one. That would be a hard one if somebody tried to take the helm on that.
The only director, and he's one of the best actors of all time, and probably would think that he could direct this, but I don't think he could pull it off. Denzel. Because Denzel I think Denzel, if he was like, I'm directing Black Panther 3, everyone would be like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like there's just very few Black people that could get that vote of confidence from everybody involved.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think Denzel would be able to pull it off because he's never done anything like that big.
But Brandon.
Yeah.
What the whites say? What would the whites say?
Oh my God.
Diversity higher.
Who would be the white director who thinks that they could do a Black Panther 3? That would have to be like Michael Bay or Tarantino.
Nope. Yeah,
they would be like, they would be like, I think I could do it.
Black Panther says nigger 172 times in the first 2 minutes. Black Panther is Uncle Ruckus.
But yeah, this is a
here I am. Wakanda.
So fucking nuts. According to UVS research, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 set the record for the most makeup appliances used in a single film, having more than 23,000 prosthetics used across 1,000 actors. Holy shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, but real quick, going back to the Black Panther thing, think about it. Dave Bautista, literally, as soon as James Gunn was fired, Dave Bautista stated that he would demand to be released from his contract if the studio did not use the screenplay Gunn had originally written for the film. So it wasn't even also like you fired him, but I remember that they were thinking about rewriting it.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, if you're not going to use if you're definitely not going to use the script, like we're definitely not doing it.
Yeah.
Because I guess that's back when like the studios were really afraid of being associated with people.
Yeah.
So if that's what they did to James Gunn back then, Jonathan Majors is done. They're just not saying it yet. There's no way, like you've said in earlier episodes.
Yeah.
Even if he's clear, there's no way that they. Oof.
Yeah. I mean, even if he's clear, the doubt is going to be enough that they can't keep him around. It's just done. He's going to have to do some. He's going to have to go on his what's old dude from the Brady Bunch movies? Fuck. Oh my God. Who had sex with an underage girl? Oh my God.
Tony Danza?
No, Tony Danza. Tony Danza.
I don't know. I don't mean to besmirch his name.
The streets love him. Hold on.
Oh, is it Betty Ford? No.
What?
The streets love him. Tom Jones.
Rob Lowe.
Rob Lowe.
Yeah, Rob Lowe. They're gonna have to. He's gonna have to disappear for a while, and then come back.
That was not the actor I was gonna think you were gonna compare his Crisis to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that's because Rob Lowe was supposed to be in everything, and then he disappeared, and then he just resurfaced, and everybody's just like, "Oh, Rob Lowe, where have you been?" It's like, "Oh yeah, you guys just forgot that I, had a sex tape with an underage girl." Oh, does nobody know about that but me?
I mean, I think I remember he got into some shit. Everybody did back. All those 80s baby actors that blew up, they got into some shit.
Yeah, bro. His shit was pretty dark. It wasn't. It wasn't good. Well, how did no one ever heard of the Rob Lowe thing?
I don't know, but I mean, yeah. So going back to Jonathan Majors, he done with the MCU, y'all. Because if that's what they did to James Gunn, and he actually did that shit, like this ain't gonna be good.
Yeah.
But James Gunn did get invited back because when it's white, it is all right. But I mean, also like they were tweets. That's the thing is like for me, I think it's more about what you actually do than what you say or what you tweet, especially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I get like the people that were offended by the jokes that like Kevin Hart made on Twitter about, like positing if I had a gay son, this, that, and the other. That was definitely like, ignorant and not funny to my opinion, right? I absolutely get that. Do I think it was worth him not being able to do his comedy dream of hosting the Oscars? No. There's nothing I've seen like in regards to footage I've been available to and the things I've read and how he presents himself that would make me say like he doesn't deserve his dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But there are some people who are maliciously bad, who manipulate people, who hurt people, right? But then maybe they don't say anything publicly. So you don't know that they do that. Like you got to bring you got to have context, right? And I think for me, when someone tweets shit, it's more about like I can confront them, but then what do they react in person? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Is it something they still stand behind?
Exactly. When like when you're putting your hands on somebody, like that's a statement that you don't want to be making. You know what I'm saying? And if and I also think part of it is the fact is outside of the color aspect of it, Jonathan Majors is a big dude. So it makes it look even worse. It makes it look even fucking worse that he brutalized a woman to the point where, he said, and then other people coming out, it's like, yeah, this is kind of a thing with him. Yeah, he ain't got a shot, bro.
Yeah, and I know folks might say, like, man, these guys keep bringing up Jonathan Majors. It's just because this shit hurts, man. It hurts that like this is how if it's true, black men are expressing themselves and expressing the and how they treat other people. Like that's not fucking okay. Like I still think here and there about the fucking Will Smith slap. I didn't have any stake in the game and shit, but that was like a hero to me. And to see that that's how he deals with shit.
But
no, man.
So part of it also, and like I was
like you just said in the chat, that's some juicy shit.
That's the new thing. What you're talking about. I was talking to someone who reached out on the side on Instagram, and is like, I think that also black actors or just black people in the public eye need to realize that you can't be with the bullshit and think that you're going to get a second chance. No way in history has that really worked out for us on a lot especially for major stuff. You fuck up, you're done. And like, yeah, it sucks, but it's the way of the world. And the fact like they really need to move differently, surround themselves with positivity, positive people, and just don't be with the dumb shit, because if you get caught up, you're gone, bro. You're gone. We don't get a second chance. We're not Ezra Miller. So, and like that's the thing that I hope that a lot of people are taking from that is it's like, hey, actually, there's a thing that I hope that young people are taking from that, because I feel like with the world the way it is, a lot of people have forgotten that we do operate under separate rules in this world. That like young people realize like, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to, not be on dumb stuff, because if something goes wrong, I'm finished. I grew up that way and I knew that. But a lot of people, like, they don't subscribe to that anymore. It's like, oh, well, it's not unjust. Like the world ain't fair, and it's never been fair for us. And it sucks, but that's the nature of the world.
Yeah. And that's why and that's why when Drax refuses to share his Zagnarts, that's what happens. He gets frustrated. He gets upset.
I hate you.
Mantis gets upset. I had to bring it back to the movie. We were going on a rant there.
Yeah.
I did love that whole Zargnuts thing though was a callback to the holiday special, because I was like, I feel like there was a bit about Zargnuts in that weird Kevin Bacon Christmas special. Did you watch that?
No.
This shit was weird because it's like Star-Lord, he's still down about like, Gamora and stuff. And so they're like, they say, you actually might think it's funny because they talk about how Footloose, right? Like, and how Star-Lord said that like Kevin Bacon's the best actor in the world or some shit. And so they go to Earth to kidnap Kevin Bacon. So it actually is kind of funny because it's just like, because you remember that, oh, like he hasn't seen a movie past Footloose. So or at least like a human, like an Earth movie.
Yeah.
Because in theory, he should have seen other cinematic adventures in space or something.
Oh, well,
like in some form, right?
No, because they're those waves aren't reaching out that far. He's in another fucking galaxy, bro.
That's right. It is called Guardians of the Galaxy. Which is so crazy because it's in a galaxy. So how come Sylvester Stallone still can't fix whatever the fuck is wrong with in space? Because when he popped up in that one scene with Gamora, I was like, "Ooh, he don't look good. he don't look good." I don't know if that's how he looks now, or that's just the way they did the makeup for him.
He got a big old head. I mean, and part of that is probably all the steroids he was taking.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's got a Barry Bonds head.
Dude, it's
and Botox. Yes, you're right. The Uvia, but like that head. No, that's a Botox and steroids head. Yeah. His head is huge.
And then he just like, you're just like, man, this man's got a lot going on.
I mean, it's like Vin Diesel is doing his best Stallone.
He at this point, yes, he is.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel has the kind of voice now where I'm like, I would tell him if I were at dinner with Vin Diesel and he talked the way he talks in Fast 10, I'd be like, I think you need to see a doctor. Like, that's not normal. Your voice shouldn't sound like that.
Enunciate, nigga. Open your mouth.
It's like, you sound like you're choking on gravel. Please see a doctor, bro. But yeah, that Gamora being in charge of Star-Lord's old crew, like, and Yondu's old crew was interesting. I thought they would probably use that more, but they really didn't, which is kind of weird. But I did like the whole the quick flash of Yondu. That was like a nice little
like a force like a force vision, whatever.
That was cool. I did like all the stuff with the High Evolutionary. I thought that was cool. I thought the Nathan Fillion cameo went on a little bit too long. I thought that bit about the one dude that he is annoyed by. He's like, oh yeah, like there's always one in your staff that you have to deal with and stuff. I thought that was like it reminded me of the bit in Doctor Strange 2 with Billy Campbell. Sam Raimi always has Bruce Campbell. He always has that dude in the movies. It felt like that bit.
Yeah.
A little. I was just kind of like, I don't need this in my life. I know a lot of people are giving James Gunn shit because his wife is one of the people working in that alien prison thing. But I'm like, that's why you do some of this shit. You get your people work.
His brother is what's that dude?
Rocket Raccoon, and also the dude with the Hawk Yondu Hawk thing now.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not. His brother's not Rocket Raccoon.
No, his brother plays Rocket Raccoon when they're filming on set though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's in a suit and shit. It's actually kind of cool. Yeah.
Kraglin.
Yeah. But that's what people do. They put their family in movies and shit like that. And
listen, if you're not using your position to put your people on, you're not doing it right.
Exactly. Also, I think Jennifer Holland's really hot, so I'm all good with that. But yeah, I actually so Guardians 3 is interesting because I put it above Guardians 2 in regards to entertainment, and I really enjoyed the fight scene at the end where they're in the High Evolutionaries chamber or whatever, and it's to the Beastie Boys and they're shooting the fuck out of all those things, all the soldiers and stuff. I was like, that might be my favorite Guardians action scene. But I did like the story with Rocket, and I liked how everything kind of wrapped up. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and wasn't what I had been marketed to. So I felt let down by that. You know what I mean? I felt like it's one thing if it's one trailer that insinuates that somebody's gonna die or something like that. But then when you get 3, you're kind of like, oh wow, okay, they're preparing me for a heavy movie probably.
Yeah. And I mean, technically they did give you a heavy movie. Because when you watch animals catch some bullets upside this head, that's these cute little otters and shit. They just catching the snipe. Nah, that's tough.
It's tough for me because and I've said this before on this show. I have grown, like, I've become more and more disturbed by how much I think humans, especially women, white women particularly, seem to value animal like lives over human lives.
Mm-hmm.
And that's incredibly disturbing to me. And I understand like animal cruelty is a big thing. Like it freaks me the fuck out and makes obviously me feel sorry for the animals that would be in that situation, right? But I've also seen white women react like they lost a family member. They lost a family member to an imaginary dog that died. But then when you bring up, I'm thinking about one personal situation where we brought up George Floyd, and it was like, oh, that was sad. Like very passive.
Yeah.
And it's like,
but okay. But Brandon,
I know that's
not defending anybody, but people are going to care about the things that mean something to them. If somebody loses a family dog, that's one thing. When somebody sees,
no, this is a dog in the movie,
huh?
This is a dog
like, like Marley and Me?
Yeah, it was like, oh, I can't believe they killed that dog in that movie. Yeah, it was like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, because people was like, oh, animals are innocent. So then what is everyone else?
We also are animals too.
Well, I mean, let's not say black folks specifically. You racist son of a bitch. You racist son of a bitch. But yes, we as human beings are inherently, we are animals. We are just at the top of the food chain when it really comes down to it.
Are we though?
I mean, we are. Technically, because our technology, the way we run the world has actually elevated us to the top of the food chain. Now, if it was just us, with a rock and these fisticuffs, absolutely not. And these fucking African soup bones, no, we're not at the top. But with the way we've hacked the world, we became the top of the food chain.
Okay. Nice.
We gotta get humbled every now and again.
Oh yeah. But
wave, here you come. I can't swim.
Now that's racist, because damn well we can swim.
Not when a wave crashes on you, nigga.
Well, it depends on how big the wave is. Are we talking like the death waves that we always are definitely afraid about?
Bro,
the ones where you look across and it's just nothing but wave.
It's just a wall coming at you. And you're just like, dude, well.
What's crazy is I was thinking about that exact thing when I was walking to Venice Beach like 2 weekends ago. I thought about the wall. I thought about the wall of water. And I was like, if that happened right now, I strangely feel at peace with that.
Because there's literally nothing you could do.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, okay.
Hey, let's go.
The worst part would be, I think the worst part in that scenario would be if the wave that the impact of the wave didn't kill me instantly. I think if I were still conscious and like part of the wave and then the water and the ship floating by, that would be worse. That'd be far, far worse for me.
So, not to bring the podcast down, but I'm about to. I don't know, did you guys see the story? There's a graduation cruise.
Oh, the kid jumped off, right?
Kid jumped overboard. Did you see the video?
No.
He jumps overboard and he's obviously drunk, and they throw him a buoy, but it's dark, so he can't see it. He's in the middle of the ocean. They're saying like, I think there's a shark right there. But at night, those boats are moving too fast. So like, imagine how scared he must have been. He's sitting in the middle of the ocean watching that ship just pull away from him. He can't get the buoy because the current's gonna push it, and he can't see anything. And then it's just done. Yeah, they didn't find him because he ain't around. But the other end is he could have got sucked right into the propellers. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing good that comes of that. That's just so dark. It's just like, but that just shows the fragility of life. Like one mistake, boom, it's over. Holy shit!
How do we get here?
I don't know, baby. I don't
like it.
Because we're watching the movie where we thought everybody was going to get their swan song. And we got honey dicked out of death. So we're bringing up death to make us feel good about the fact that there's still death in the world.
I like that save because I was just like, man, this is very
Where's he
morbid.
going?
Yeah, because it was like when Rocket's friends got killed. Yeah, that was sad as fuck. I'm like, Jesus Christ, because you also get why he's so angry, and like
he's so cynical.
Exactly, and then it's also like they were so cute. Those animals were so cute, except for the walrus one that kind of freaked me out. But
But that's why I say, man, gotta kill them kids.
So we did get some Patriot thoughts in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And remember, folks, if you sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/media popcorn, you get your Patriot thought read on the show. First up is Sean T. He wrote, I really enjoyed it. A great send off to the cast and characters, and dude that played the villain performance is brilliant. Terrace Kershaw wrote, best Marvel movie since Spider-Man No Way Home. Perfect wrap up to their story. Jerry Broderick Jr. wrote, I agree with the gentleman above. This was a perfect send-off and a great start for the new and old members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm really eager to see the direction that James Gunn takes the DC EU. Damon A. Williams wrote, I thought it was a great conclusion to the saga, but I was convinced that most of the team wasn't going to make it, but pleasant surprise, they did, except for Peter. That nigga needed to die. The snap was all his fault. All right. James Brooks wrote, James Gunn has the biggest balls in MCU, formally. They were real stakes from the beginning. He kept making you think, oh shit, this character is going to die. And then Sid Tobias wrote, I never cried and smiled so hard at a movie than this one. Incredible. Shout outs to James Gunn. Rocket's probably my favorite MCU character now with all the new variants going forward in the Marvel universe. Okay. So those are the Patriot thoughts about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Don't disagree with most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty spot on. I mean, I know this might just be me after Scream 6, but I do think it's a little bit of a lame out to not kill nobody. You know, it would have been cool to see someone die. I was prepared for Drax. I was ready.
If you could kill somebody outside of Drax, because it seems like because he was like, I'm not coming back. Because I think that was the most obvious. Who would it be?
I would say probably Star-Lord.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go with like you said, Peter. I say Star-Lord. Yeah, have him sacrifice himself for the team, maybe for Gamora to like so he could be with her in the afterlife. We could have got a sweet moment, but they both have the headphones on in the afterlife and listen to the song before that fades out, something like that.
I would say Gamora.
Kill her again.
Yeah, because nobody expects that. And she actually goes, and then obviously Peter ends up having to realize oh, she's really, really gone. And then he's forced to move on, which makes him leave space and go back to the Earth.
I think James Gunn though is a little bit too I think he'd be cautious about killing a woman just to make a man realize what they're lacking in life. You know what I mean?
What killing a woman to make a man feel real pain?
Well, make a man twice. Make a man rediscover his manness, or something like that. It's I get what you're saying. It's just I gotta think like the studio now because that's how I gotta get shit made. Because these niggas are too stupid. All they do is go for IP and shit.
Brandon, shut up.
Yeah, I'm talking myself out of money right now. I'm just walking out the bank. By the way, I am writing a script, Justin, that has your bank rant from Blank Check. It's not like verbatim or anything like that, but I essentially talk about how no bank has $1 million in it.
And the bank $1 million out of a bank.
The bank robbers find out in the worst way. Like, nigga, we ain't got that kind of money. So Justin, break down our rating system so we can grade Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
All right, guys. So we rate movies bags of popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any popcorn, we throw it into the dog shit pile. We pile piles and piles of dog shit atop of it. So Brandon, we sat down and we watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, starring Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, Karen Gillan, Vin Diesel, Bradley Cooper, Will Poulter, Sean Gunn. I mean, fucking James Gunn, Chooch Wundi. I can't say his last name. I'm gonna fuck it up. I already fucked up his first name, and also Sly Stallone. But what say you, sir?
Yeah, this gets a large. This gets a large. Like I said, I liked it better than Guardians 2. I still think Guardians 1's like a classic for me, just because from start to finish, like I just love that movie. But this did a really good job, like wrapping up some storylines. But again, like it feels like they could revisit any of these characters at any time. So there does a lot of people are talking about closure, but I didn't really feel that in any sense of the word from this film. I kind of felt like this is a way for them to wrap up if they chose to, but I wouldn't be surprised if the money's right if everyone just pots back in some capacity. But nonetheless, I thought it was a good story. There's some really cool shots and songs in this, so I enjoyed it. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I'm gonna give this a large, man. I think it really hit all the points.
Mm-hmm.
It it gave you something to cry about. The action was great. It was a great story. We got to learn a lot about these characters. More backstory and flesh out for those characters that we didn't have enough about, a la Rocket Raccoon, and it just really hit the spot for me. And it really made me just like, oh, man, it's like I wish we had one more in us, but like I understand why we're here, and you really appreciate what we had in these three movies.
Yeah, I wonder. Do you think that if they continue with like the new Guardians that we saw, right? It's like Rocket, one of the children that they saved from the High Evolutionary, you know, prison or whatever, Adam Warlock and Groot, and then Kragan, right? So it's five of them. Do you think we get and the dog? That's right. You even mentioned the dog. You know who the voice of that dog was?
No.
Maria Baklava from Borat too. Yeah. Oh, that was a funny gag between like he calls her a bad dog at the beginning, and so the whole rest of the movie she's like, "Please tell me I'm not a bad dog. Take it back." What was I saying before I went into that?
The dog. I mean, if they give us, they keep that story.
If they keep those characters, do we get another Guardian sequel, or do we just get them popping up in like Avengers movies or other characters' stories?
I think it'll be a while before we get a Guardian sequel, if that were to happen. I think they're going to be characters that are going to pop up here and there.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't. It's interesting because I'm worried that they'll bring back a bunch of these characters and have them pop up, and so it won't really feel like closure the way that the commercials made it feel. But at the same time, I still really think that Feige is working towards that Secret Wars, and he's just going to fucking set everything at zero and just focus on mutants going forward because it's so much easier to keep track of. If everyone's complaining about the continuity and the different,
bro, no, it's not. The mutants are far more convoluted than the rest of these guys.
You think so?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I mean, just Cyclops, his whole family is nuts. His father fucking takes off in space and fucking green women and having all these random kids. His brother is a fucking star. Like it's just weird shit, like all over. Basically Cyclops is kind of the main character, and he's just like a torch. It's almost like he's like a child star, and like Professor X is taking advantage of him his whole entire life. And like the mutant stories are crazy, and that's just Cyclops being like the in the forefront. Jean Grey, the fucking
I mean, she's fucked up. Yeah, that's
no, but that's just talk about trying to do this Phoenix Force outside of Jean Grey, like the white hot room, all that kind of shit. Nuts. That's like Avengers has nothing on fucking then you start throwing in the time skips, people coming from the future, other realities and shit like that. Yeah, it's nuts.
All right. I stand corrected then.
Oh yeah, you corrected them.
All right. Well, folks, that is our review on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We hope you enjoyed this Mama Jamma. You know, you can follow me at American Cons, AmericanCons.com, on all the social media platforms. Come fuck with me in person in Brooklyn for Comedy Outliers, the Brooklyn series, starting on Friday, July 7th at Union Hall in Brooklyn. Get tickets for that at AmericanCons.com. And then remember, you can follow the show at Medium P Podcast on all the social media platforms. Be sure to subscribe at youtube.com/Medium Popcorn so you get alert about all future episodes as well as celebrity interviews on the channel. Justin, if people want to follow you and support the show financially, what can they do, my brother?
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on the socials, but you can support this show at patreon.com/medium popcorn. We got $2, $5, $10, $15 packages on Patreon. If you love the show, you want our back episodes, you want bonus episodes, you want more monthly episodes, you want just shit that you didn't even think that you needed in your life, as well as Tubi nights. You need to be on Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/medium popcorn. And please leave us a voicemail 347-508-0978. And shit, leave us a review. Get your dicks hard. At least
That's
Brandon.
right. Come and get hard, y'all. Let it fly. All right. Talk to you soon.
Peace.